Ladies and gentlemen, if I can welcome you to the Manchester stand. My name's Tom Bloxam. I'm very, very pleased to be here. I'm here really, I think, partly in my role as chairman of Manchester International Festival and partly as property developers Urban Splash. The first thing I'd like to say is really a fantastic well done to Drew and his team. I've been coming to MIPIM for over 10 years, I think, now. And I think in all those years, this is probably not only the best Manchester stand that I've seen, but probably the best stand I've seen, full stop. So well done, Drew and the team, for the stand. The only thing I was slightly annoyed about is apparently I was the only person he told was fancy dress today. It's actually a new suit, which I was quite pleased of and proud of. And the story behind the suit is actually in flannels, as many of you know, in Manchester Town Square. And I saw it about 18 months ago. And it was I looked at it, I quite fancied it, but it was extremely expensive. I thought I couldn't get it. And I went back in there about 2 weeks ago. It was in the sale, less than half price. So I thought I'd snap this up, go back home, take it to my missus and say, surprise. You never guess what, the same suit's in the sale. She said, surprise. Anybody else be stupid enough to buy that suit? Anyway. So, I mean, why culture, and why have we got the big banner about culture outside? Why are most of the quotes about culture? Why is culture important to Manchester? And why is culture important to us as property developers? I mean, for me, I think there are 3 or 4 things. First of all, I firmly believe it's good for our businesses, all our businesses. Secondly, I think it's great for Manchester's image in the world. Thirdly, it, in a very real way, brings in pounds and pounds and pounds, in fact, millions of pounds, into the city. And fourthly, it's fun and it's good, and it might even just change your life at some point. So, first of all, why is it good for business? Well, actually, I started Urban Splash in the late 80s, early 90s, in a building called Juicy House in Manchester. And that building was all about culture. It started with Ian Simpson and Rachel Huff on their early jobs. It was filled with people like So What Arts, who simply read, became Ask Developments, 808 State, graphic designers, architects, fashion designers. And I was aware there was this community in Manchester of really forward-thinking individuals, and they had nowhere to actually live and nowhere to get offices. So we created a building called Juicy House, really managed workspace, and that helped develop Urban Splash and saw this huge strength of culture and a huge creativity. At the same time as that, Manchester City Council were being their usual being, I was going to say aggressive is not the right word, being ambitious. And the turning point for me for Manchester wasn't, like many people say, the RA bomb. We're actually well on the way to sort Manchester out by then, nor was it even the Commonwealth Games. The turning point for me was actually the Olympic Games bid. And if you remember the Olympic Games bid, despite losing, there were thousands of us out in the street celebrating, because we realised for the first time that Manchester was no longer competing with Barnsley or Scunthorpe or Stockport, but Manchester was competing with Los Angeles, with Sydney, with Barcelona, with world-class cities, and the ambition was always to be world-class. And I suppose these 2 bits of things come together really in the Manchester International Festival. And the Manchester International Festival follows on from the Olympic Game and the Commonwealth Games bid as a way a number of us in Manchester thought, how can we keep this brand Manchester going? And Peter Savillus here very carefully said, actually, brands are not about logos, it's about getting the product right. First of all, get the product right, and then tell people about it. And the best product in the world is useless if you don't tell people about it. Conversely, all the marketing in the world is useless unless the product's right. So we established Manchester International Festival, all about commissioning new works. We did 07, we did 09, and we're coming up with 011. An amazing collection of works with amazing results. 90% of tickets were sold. Nearly 250,000 people attended the attendances in 09. £20 million worth of press coverage, and over £35 million worth of money coming into Manchester. It's very, very simple, very, very strong, all about new works for a new festival, and I think it's great for Manchester. Hopefully it can be as good for your business and as good for the city as it's been for our business. Hopefully many of you will be inspired by the festival. There's some books on the back. Helen is over there, and Sir Howard or myself are very happy to get any more information. There are lots of ways of getting involved. I mean, what I'd say to you finally about the festival is that, you know, let's help Manchester use it as a way of marketing Manchester. If you think your business can get involved, give us a shout and find out where it is. But most of all, you as individuals and your families and your colleagues, come in 2011. It's going to be an even better festival in 2009. Come and take part. And just here, we've got a quick 2 minutes to give you a snippet of what it was like last time. Thank you.
I was very keen for there to be a very wide range of artists doing special projects for the city and for the wide range of audiences in the city.
I never know any festival that explores so many different disciplines.
I'm premiering my first opera. It's a day in the life of a fading opera diva who is debating whether to continue her career or not.
But what we're doing is basically a love letter to the city and its acceptance and support of music and the arts through history.
Fantastic atmosphere, great gig, superb. Come on.
It felt like A Kiss was very much the brainchild of Adam Curtis, the legendary documentary filmmaker, and Felix Barrett, who's the artistic director of Punch Drunk. Together they created this piece of immersive theatre with music by Damon Albarn. It was all over the press and it just seemed to capture the zeitgeist of the time. Who could resist 20 years on the anniversary gig of 3 Feet High and Rising?
Everybody in Manchester tonight, where we say hi, we want you.
When Anthony wanted to work with the Manchester Camerata to present his first ever stage concert, it was rather irresistible.
So the idea was, with this kind of radical historical event, to invite 14 artists from different cultures and backgrounds to actually make the performance work.
When I first met Zaha Hadid and explained that I was hoping someone could create a 21st century chamber venue in which the works of Solo Bach could be performed, she very kindly agreed. The Great Indoors was part of our free programme and it took over the entire town hall and handed it over to the kids.
I think it's a really good idea. I think it's fantastic that it's free and I think the kids are going to have a really great day today.
I was asked to do something in the public realm and I came up with the idea of a procession. There's about 25 elements, big issue sellers, steel band, so all sorts of different things really.
It was good to see Manchester performers out there spicing it up.
The Manchester International Festival seems to accurately reflect what I think is going on in the music world and in the cultural world in general.